Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel is Making with Marilyn. Now I do all things crafty, but I've been on a huge rhinestone kick lately. Now if you're wondering why I'm holding my shirt, it's because I'm not really wearing it. I made this shirt last week on a live and I made this shirt today. So if you're interested in seeing how to make this, keep watching the video. Now for today's video, I'm going to make a Power Cat template. And a Power Cat is the emblem or the logo of the Kansas State Wildcats. So I'm just going to Google Power Cat. Then I'll click on images. And really any of these would be fine. I'll just grab this one right here and drag it to my desktop. Now I can close out Google. I have my Silhouette Business Edition open. Then all I'm going to do is just drag that image right back over and put it on the canvas. Okay, so I want to make this quite a bit bigger to trace it. Notice it's fuzzy, it has a white background. So to get this in a usable format, I'm going to go right here to the Trace Panel tool. Let's open that. I'm going to click Select Trace Area, and then I'll get fairly tight around what I really want. And you can see it's all yellow. That is exactly what I want. Let me just go ahead and click here. Okay, once I traced it, I can go here and I can pull the old one off and just go ahead and delete it. So here's what I'm left with. And to play with it, I want to turn it black. So right now this is 4.7 inches tall and 6.4 inches wide. I'm going to make that quite a bit bigger. Now for purposes of making rhinestone templates, you do have to settle on a size before you make your template, because if you make your template and then you stretch it larger, the holes that you cut out are now the wrong size holes for your rhinestones. For this project, I'm going to use the SS10 rhinestones. So right here, this little picture is the rhinestone panel. So I'm going to click on it, and here's all my options. So I said I was going to use SS10s. They call them 10SS. Now right now, there's no rhinestones. If I click here, it's going to put rhinestones around the outer edge. And that's really cute, but it's not what I'm going for today. This one will make them very linear. So see how all these lines are straight? Usually that's what I like. In this case, with the curves and such of the Power Cat, I really like this, but they're not close enough together. So now we're going to play with the spacing. Let's see what 0.035 would look like. Okay, it's a little better. 0.03. So let's try 0.025. We're getting really close to what I want. I'm going to try one more. Let's go with 0.020. Okay, I like that one right there, but look at all these gaps in here. So here's where the work comes in. So far it's been super easy. Where the work comes in is where you're going to add more rhinestones or spread these out. And you're going to do that by hand. So the first thing you have to do is click on Release Rhinestones. Now once I click on that, it's going to take a little bit of time. You will know when they're released because you're going to have a little box around every individual rhinestone. Okay, so you see it showed up. If I just blow this up, I'm not actually making it larger, I'm just zooming in. You see the little boxes around each one. So now each one is its own individual rhinestone, and these are no longer held together. Now I'm going to click outside of them. Then to fix this, there's a couple ways. What we're going to do is we're just going to focus right up here. Because if I showed you how long this takes, it would probably take me about 45 minutes to fix this template. So let me zoom in. Before I do, see the gaps here, see the gap here. I'm going to show you how you fix those. Okay, so I've zoomed in. The way I like to do it is click on one rhinestone, hit Command-C for copy, Command-V for paste, and then I can just drag it where I want it. Now the reason that the template didn't put one here is because it didn't have enough space to keeping the parameters that I put in. Now that fits there, but it's pretty snug over here. I'm going to hit my right arrow. It moves it over just a little bit. and I think that would be fine. All right, I'm just going to hit Command V to paste another one. Then I'll drag it right here, and you're going to see that it's overlapping with this one right here. Okay, let me select it again, hit my left arrow. It'll move it over a little bit. There's plenty of room to the right of this one, so I'll select it. I'll hit my arrow key to the right a few times. I think I'll go one more time because there's plenty of room to move this one up. Okay, so remember I said you could either add them or space them out. Now I'm going to show you if you space them out so there's more equal spacing, how that helps. Okay, this gap is still too large, so I'm going to do a Command V to get another one. And I'll just drag it up here. Now, obviously that won't work, so I can either drag these with my cursor, or I can click on one, hit my up arrow a couple of times. I hit it 3 times so far, over to the right once. Let's go up another time or two. Come back down. Then I can drag this or use those arrow keys. And I'm just going to keep playing with these until I have enough room for it. Again, you can either drag it or use those arrow keys. Dragging it's faster. Using the arrow keys to me is a little more precise, or gives you a little more control. Okay, I think there's room for one here. I'll hit Command V. Place it there, and I am going to have to spread out those around it just a little bit. Let me click on this one and go left. Click on this one, I'll go to the right and up. And then I'll just drag that up just a little bit. All right, so now I'm just going to kind of space these out so they look better. And I could either work a lot to make more space in here for one more, or like I talked about before, I'll just drag these out just a little bit. Okay, so I still see a problem right here. Let's drag this guy over to the left just a little bit. Then I could either, again, work a lot to make more space there, or it's going to be a whole lot more time efficient, and it'll still look great to just space these out a little bit. Okay, so the last area I said I was going to play with is right here. Now in this case, I feel like spreading them out a little bit is the best case to go, or the best way to go. I really feel like I could fit one more in right there by just moving things out a little bit. Let's do a Command V to bring one more in. And then just drag it up into place. Now when you see these up close, you might feel like, okay, well you just got this one out of this row a little bit. And I did. But I'll show you when you zoom back out, little imperfections like that, they really don't show up. And then when you get your bling on, they really don't show up. Okay, you're going to be left with little gaps that you just can't perfectly fill. And so I got something off of Amazon that I'm going to use with this project to show you how I can fix those. All right, so remember how in this area there were some really large gaps? I've filled those in quite a bit. Now let me show you what my image that I spent a lot of time looks like. And here's one that took me about an hour to fix. So you can see that's a lot better than what I started with, and I'm happy with it. So the next step would be go ahead and save this, which I've already done, open Cricut Design Space, and pull it into Cricut Design Space. Now, one thing I want you to know, when I made this template, I went ahead and I welded all these together. So you'd select all of them, you'd go up to Panels, Modify, and then you'd click on Weld. Now what welding them all together does is it makes them one unit. So when I try to pull this into Cricut Design Space, it's going to take a lot less time for Cricut to process this file and bring it in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. I've already saved mine, so right now I'm going to say don't save. Now that I'm in Cricut, I want to say that I'm going to upload my file, then upload image, browse. Now I'm going to browse my desktop. There's things on it that I probably don't want the public to see. So I'll browse, I'll pull it in, and you'll see it coming in. So the file that I've selected and I'm getting ready to go ahead and bring into Cricut, I named it PowerCat Rhinestones Welded, and then I have my size. So it's 9.392 inches wide by 6.865 inches tall. Now that's a tip I learned from the Baby's Booty. She is a great resource. She has an awesome YouTube channel, so check her out. I'll put her link in the description below just in case you haven't seen her. So now I'm going to go ahead and say open. Now it does say it's a large image, but look how fast that went. If I hadn't welded these together, I'd be sitting here a very long time. Now it's already in SVG, so I'm going to upload. And here it is. So I'll click on it and I'll say add to canvas. Now let's see how large it comes in. 9.393, and I think that was the name of the file. Let me go over here on my desktop and look. It was supposed to come in at 9.392, so it's just barely off. This third digit after the decimal, that's not going to affect it in a negative way. It's still going to work. And then 6.865, and that's exactly what it was supposed to come in as. So at this time, all I need to do is say make it. And here it is. If I want to adjust where it cuts, I can. If I want my material to be down here, that's fine. I'll say continue. Then I've made my own custom settings for rhinestones. I have one setting if I'm cutting the rhinestone flock without the backing, and a separate setting if I'm cutting it with the backing. So in this case, I'm doing no backing. I click done. Okay, this is going to take a super long time to cut. I'm going to spare you of just watching my Cricut cut this, and so I'll meet you back at the table. Now here's the things that I'm going to use for the rest of this project. I have my template. Now the back side's sticky, so I'm going to go ahead and place it face down for now. I have my rhinestones. They're clear SS10s. I have a little paintbrush. It's a trim brush, and you just push your rhinestones around with it. You can get that at Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, places like that. You can get them off Amazon too, but they're less expensive, I believe, in the store. Now this is some transfer tape. That will help me move my rhinestones over onto my shirt. And then lastly, I have my shirt. Now the shirt I'm using today is from Circle Clothing. Now once I get my rhinestone template filled, then I will move over to my heat press and I'll use that to adhere my rhinestones to my shirt. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to try to move that out of the glare of the camera, then I'll probably just zoom in a little bit. So I have my template down. Then I'm going to dump a bunch of these rhinestones on, much more than I'm going to need for the project. Now when I looked into this, I think this took about 2,000 rhinestones. So it does take quite a few, but I just dump them on and start going in circular motions. And between bumping into each other and the flock, a lot of them just turn over into place. Okay, I might have a little overkill with the number of stones, but that's okay. It will be fine. Oh, I see one more thing I will end up using, and that is this rhinestone picker tool. I'll talk about that as I use that. Basically, it's a tool that I got off of Amazon. The wax tip screws off so that you can put a replacement on. You can use that to pick up your rhinestones, move them, set them into place. What'll happen is, let me just start moving some of these off. I'm going to move them off in straight motions to the side. And then what will happen is I will have a few empty holes. I'll also have some extra rhinestones on top, especially since I went a little crazy with the number of rhinestones that I dumped on this design. Okay, so the first thing you might notice is there are some red holes here. And that's why I put this cling down. With the silver tray, I was not able to tell where I was seeing tray and where I was seeing blank holes. So what I can do is I can just take an extra rhinestone, pick it up with my tool, and set it down into place. Have one more blank hole. Then I got to figure out how to get all these excess rhinestones off. So I'm just going to spend a couple more minutes pushing them off to the side. And actually you can see I just dragged one out right there. Then I can just start removing some of these extra ones. Whoops, took off too many. I can remove the extra ones with my picker tool also. So I'll finish what I'm doing. Then we'll take one really good look at it just to make sure we don't have any upside down, we don't have any missing, and we don't have any extras. Okay, from my view off to the side or in front of it, it looks good, but give me a moment. I'm going to put my head straight over this and I'll just delete that out so you don't see the back of my head, and then we'll move on. Okay, I think I see two more extra ones, and then I believe we're ready to transfer this to the shirt. Nope, there's another. Now this transfer tape has a backing that you peel off. You can use this transfer tape more than once typically. So you do want to keep that backing so you can put this back down on it to protect it. All right, here's the step that gets many of us novice rhinestone crafters. And that is putting this down. Because when you put it down, it wants to kind of suck up those rhinestones. And then if you move it all, you've messed up your design. So I'm going to do the best I can. If the results turn out really poorly, I can start over. But for now, I'm going to put it kind of like a taco. And then when I put it down, I'll put the whole thing down. And I'm just going to have to commit to it. Like I said, if you try to pull it up, you're going to pull the rhinestones that have stuck to it. You're going to get everything out of kilter. Oh my gosh, I think that actually worked out well. So I'm going to spend just a little bit of time pressing down to make sure the rhinestones are adhered to the sticky tape. Now one thing is, if any of them shifted a little bit, let's say this one was in the wrong place, I could take my fingernail and kind of press on it through the tape and just shift it slightly. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to take one corner and lift up slowly. I'm going to go slowly in case a rhinestone doesn't come up with the sticky tape. That way I could put it right back down, give some more pressure on top of the rhinestone, and then pull it up. Okay, so here's an example. That one stayed down. Okay, whoops. Didn't mean to let go of that. Okay, it was somewhere over here. Don't really remember exactly where. Okay, wherever it was, it came up this time. Okay, so they all came up. And then what I'm going to do is just place this face down. That way gravity can just keep this in place while I'm getting my shirt ready. I have my heat press heating up to 335 and my timer set for 15 seconds, but before I put any rhinestones down, I want to pre-press my shirt. Now I'm pre-pressing this for 15 seconds. I want to get it nice and smooth, but even more importantly, I want to get the moisture out. Now what I'm doing is I'm adjusting the shirt so that the collar is not under where the press will be, or at least there's not going to be pressure on it because I have it over the edge of my pad. Rhinestones are pretty expensive, so I want to take all the precautions I can just to get a really great result. Now these rhinestones are kind of heavy because there's so many of them. I want that to be about 3 inches down from the collar, 3 to 4 from the top edge of the collar, and I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to take a couple minutes here just to make sure it's centered and get it exactly where I want it. If the view looks a little different, I had a problem with my camera and it just froze in the middle of my video. So I'm trying to recreate this last little bit so you see the final process. So I'm going to go ahead and press this at 235 for 15 seconds. Now I can go ahead and immediately remove this backing. Now remember, you can reuse that transfer tape, so put it back on the white part. Then I like to go ahead and put a Teflon sheet down. And then even though I turned the temperature off, I'm going to go ahead and press this for about 10 more seconds. All right, so let's take the shirt back over to the table and get a good close-up look at it. Now, I just got this off of Amazon, and it's a little HOTFIX tool. Not as high-tech as cutting a template, using a heat press and all that. But I got this because sometimes I'm not happy with blank spots in my designs. Now it comes with some tweezers, a little stand, a little wax pencil, and then this comes with several ends. I'm going to fill in with some SS6 rhinestones, so I want to find the end that goes with SS6 rhinestones. And I believe it's this one. Okay, it's very tiny, but there is an impression that tells the millimeters and the size of rhinestone. So this is the one I want to use. So before you heat this thing up, you just, So before you heat this thing up, you just twist that in, then plug it in. Okay, so I got it plugged in. Here's the little stand. I'm not really sure how it works. Like I said, I haven't read the instructions, but you turn it on right here. And when you flip it on, you have a red light. I assume that'll turn green when it's ready, but for now, I'm just going to set this down like this, wait for a few minutes, and see if that turns green. Okay, as I wait for that to heat up, I want to go ahead and bring my shirt over. Okay, so here's my shirt, It's very pretty, very blingy. Look at that. Lovely, lovely, lovely. But I wanted to try out this new applicator wand. Sometimes when you're doing templates, there are gaps that you just can't help when you're only using one size of rhinestone. And the one that sticks out to me in this shirt is right here. I'm probably going to have to lift this up. Well, I think you can see it in the camera. But basically where these two lines narrow up and come together, there wasn't room for the template to have an SS6. It's right here. So what I'm going to do is use this applicator tool and put one or two SS6s in there. So I'm just going to lay a few of those out on this blue silicone mat. Now what I don't know is, do you pick them up with this tool? Or apparently you lay them down where you want them, you put this on it, heat it, and then I assume it'll stick. Okay, so the main place I want one is right here. So I'm just going to use these well, actually, let me use this rhinestone picker. I like those a lot better than tweezers. So I'll set it down, move it into place. Then once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to put the tip of this down on it, and I'm going to count slowly to 15. I assume since you heat them for 15 seconds on the heat press, that's probably what you do with this. Okay, there it is. Had a hard time seeing where I put it. All right. Oh, good. It is stuck nice and well. Now I put it right there. That just helps fill that in. I think I'll do one more right in the middle there, and then I'll call that good. Okay, so there's that one, and I think they look good. Like I said, they weren't really necessary, but I like them. Okay, there's the final product, and it is gorgeous. Thanks so much for joining me and sticking it out all the way till the end. Until my next video. Bye-bye.